In a city as vast and accommodating as London, within the lavishness of Mayfair, a piece of America has found a home. The Maddox Gallery did what apparently none in the U.S. would do: take on a painting that comes with the threat of a lawsuit, and for the artist Ilma Gore, death threats. We can't show you all of the piece entitled "Make America Great Again." The parts seemingly intended to, let's say, diminish a man who's larger than life.
When you're a politician, you sign up for satire as well. That's just part of the game. I thought it was quite extraordinary. So we brought it over here after we contacted Ilma, who was delighted. We put it in a Renaissance-style frame, which I think looks great. And now it's one of the most talked about paintings in the world. I used to love to do this. Come on through.
Initially, it went up for more than $1.6 million, and thousands came to see it.
Yeah, I completely recognized it, and I was gobsmacked that it was in here.
Including Natalie Hamilton, who was looking for an investment piece. And on the same day, she bought the likeness of the next very litigious president for a hefty, undisclosed sum.
I was very afraid. I didn't want anyone knowing who I was. And then I actually got very comfortable with it. I loved the fact that it opened up so many conversations. I loved the fact that I owned something so hilarious. I mean, look at it. It's amazing. And it makes people talk.
London has a long tradition of holding up a transatlantic mirror, of unflinching reflection on an ally and a world power few others would attempt. No one here is off limits. And so London's version of the world's growing body of Trump art has an edge.
Here he is as a dictator.
Alison Jackson's work tries to imagine what Trump does away from the cameras.
I definitely don't mean this to be humorous, but I must have a very mischievous view on things. Really, what I want to do is expose the private realness of somebody opposed to the public face. Everything is so rehearsed so that he is all on brand all the time. And the USA is on Trump brand. Action!
Every photo takes hours to create. A paid actor after auditioning 300 of them. And a specially made wig, which she says cost a fortune.
It's not just a comb over, it's a triple, quadruple comb over. And then it swoops backwards.
The photos have resonated and shocked on both sides of the Atlantic. Included in a book of her work no one would publish because of fears the Trump photos would bring on lawsuits. So she did it herself.
I'm deeply upset because any threat about my artistic freedom is deeply, deeply upsetting.
It is unsettling in a hub of satire and political art, a canvas for the likes of Banksy, the renegade street artist, and his opinionated works, and contemporaries who've mastered art with political overtones.
I paint the human figure a lot.
And yet for the most proven of artists, even one whose work might be owned by the likes of Angelina Jolie, Trump as a subject right now is hard to resist.
I think he's an icon. He stands for something now, you know. It's like the opposite of the Statue of Liberty. I don't actually have his eyes in there at all, but it's his mouth what actually does it, just gives all his expression.
In The Many Faces of Trump, Anthony Micallef's commentary was unambiguous.
I mean, I just disagree with everything he says. I didn't want just a caricature of Trump. I really wanted to make it something else in a way. And also mixing it with the cigarette packet, the design, kind of fused it into a familiar kind of idea for us, or you know, a familiarity with what we've seen before, but it's changed. And that's the bit I find interesting.
All three pieces sold to a collector from China. Micallef's now working on something else for the inauguration.
Making art is an extension of your voice. So when people say, look, I don't want to hear your politics, I just think, well, don't look at my art then.
And Make America Great Again is already up for resale, getting new offers and no lawsuits. Hamilton's purchase has changed her in ways she hadn't bargained for.
I was actually pro-Hillary at the beginning. And then I started doing my homework. And then I started reading. And I completely did a 180. Can you believe it?
No doubt the art of the Donald will always be